This is the Fifth Estate winning headline, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you might have missed this morning. But we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 9th of April 2019, and I am 2J.
I am 2M.
And I am Miss K, your host. Again, in case you missed it, this is Winning Headlines. Let's take a look at today's headlines. Daily Nation, election loss not a big deal, says Raila.
Right.
The Star, how I defeated Raila in Ugenya, Ochieng. And The Standard, hand of God, mother-baby escape crash.
The Standard is reading from a different script.
As always,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there's a new editor, maybe there's a new trajectory they want to have in their reporting, but we'll get there.
Yes.
I say we start with the Daily Nation and the Star.
Yes.
This
Yes.
story is curious. Daily Nation, election loss, not a big deal, says Raila. I don't know.
I'm sure the man is thoroughly embarrassed.
Of course he's embarrassed. A rumor is not true until it is denied.
You know, you cannot lose with a margin of, I think, what, 13,000 votes.
Yeah, it was a very big margin.
In Embakasi and in Uganda is about 4,000 or 3,000 thereabouts. And you come out and say, oh, it's just nothing.
You know, Ochieng did an exclusive interview for The Star, and we have to note what they said.
Yeah.
This is the first time,
Yes.
historically,
Yeah.
that the seat in Ugenya has been taken by someone not affiliated to the
To the
Odinga
Odingas
family.
in
Yeah.
any way. Okay, but though he was in ODM, then he
Yeah.
walked out, but
Yes.
he won, as he says,
Yeah.
of his own merit
Yeah.
by talking to the people and
Yes.
avoiding the media.
Yeah.
You know, if I was William Ruto, I would take credit for both elections.
Whether or not he
Yeah, and
was
see,
actually involved.
It was up to me. For a long time, he's been, you know, he's been fingered so much by Raila, but now he's lighting fires around him. And
Yeah.
let Raila contain himself.
But I have-
And so we ask,
Yes.
if Raila is losing ground,
Yes.
Yeah.
who is gaining?
Are
At
we
his
saying
detriment.
that this, we're going back to game theory, this is a zero-sum game.
Zero-sum
so if
game,
you're
yes.
gaining,
Yeah.
I'm losing.
Losing,
Right.
exactly.
So who really is losing? Are we saying that
Yeah.
William Ruto is gaining ground?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
two things are happening, and I have to say that the Daily Nation, I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah.
I feel that your side headline, even the Standard,
Yes.
is a better headline than your actual headline.
What does it
so
Absolutely.
then, why UHURU is losing grip on Mount Kenya?
Yeah.
So ground is being lost on two,
both.
On two fronts.
Two fronts,
But
yeah.
if you open the nation, is why Uhuru is losing grip on Mount Kenya to Ruto. Okay? So you know
okay.
your
Yes.
answer is your question is being answered.
Yes, it is, yes.
Who is gaining ground?
So if Raila is losing ground, it is being taken by Ruto. Is that what we're
Yes,
saying?
yes.
And then similarly on the Jubilee end,
If Uhuru is losing ground,
yes, that is to
yes,
Ruto.
yes.
No, I don't know.
Is Ruto, are we saying then Ruto is the
I
big
don't
winner?
know. I really
But-
don't
but-
know.
but
Is
he-
it really a loss?
I don't know. That's
Let's
up for debate.
Let's put it this way, and I think that's not even the point. The point is, what would happen if the president loses ground? All right, what would he do to reestablish that ground? And then I go back to historical things that happened.
Okay.
When Moi lost ground in 1982
Yes.
through a coup,
Yeah.
he called for a snap election. All right, and then there was a fall of the
He
February.
dissolved.
He dissolved parliament, and then there was a snap election. Correct. Now that was a way of him reestablishing hegemony.
Yeah.
It was a way
Now,
for him to consolidate power.
Okay.
While you were away
Yeah.
yesterday, JM, for his final thought,
Yeah.
gave us a thought
Yeah.
that perhaps Parliament will be dissolved.
First, why was JM giving a final thought? I said is mine.
I said it on your behalf though.
Why?
Okay, sorry.
Does it matter who gave the final thought? The point is the thought.
it
Let's
is-
discuss the
it
thought.
is
And you're
domiciled-
alluding to
yeah.
the thought.
Yeah. Okay, say
And
it.
great minds think alike. So, are you saying that
Yeah.
Uhuru Kenyatta will dissolve Parliament?
Let me tell you, for Uhuru Kenyatta to regain his leadership and to say, I am boss, he must dissolve parliament. Kibaki did it when he lost the referendum in 2005.
No,
He did not dissolve parliament. He dissolved cabinet.
Yes.
Okay.
But it was a mechanism for him to reestablish hegemony.
Now I want to disagree with you.
Uh.
In my opinion, I do not think that our dear president has the guts to dissolve parliament of his own volition.
I think he does.
I think he is going to be instructed to do it by CJ Maraga.
Well, yes. I mean, detail. And I agree with you. He does not have the
No,
power
because-
constitutionally to do it. Yes, I do agree
Okay.
with you. He has to follow an order, and it's an instruction from Maraga to do it. But if he gets it, he will not let it even waste a day. He
But
will
then
do it
no, but
immediately.
then does that make him boss because he was instructed to do something?
Let me
And
tell
is he
you.
really establishing hegemony?
If he's been told to
If
do
he's
it,
been
no.
There's a second motive, but I'll say it at the end of the program.
No, say it now.
No.
We will have forgotten what your point was
No,
by
no,
that
no,
time.
no,
So
no.
if
Why
you
are you
don't say
saying
it now,
points?
it's
No.
vitiated.
I'll
We
say
will
that
not
the-
remember or
I'll-
return to any points that are not stated when headlines are being
You
discussed.
people took my final thought yesterday. I will show you who final thought belongs to.
Before you move on,
Can't even make a sentence. All right.
I will go back to our criteria for breaking down the headlines and leave us from the realm of true speculation that you're taking us into the president will dissolve parliament because he has the power to. And tell us what our criteria is for breaking down the headlines. We will use 3 questions to ask ourselves whether or not this is a winning headline. And we ask ourselves, is the headline topical or is it speculative?
Yes.
Is it repetitive or is it groundbreaking? And finally, is it thoughtful or just plain lazy? Now, election loss, not a big deal. Better headline. Why Uhuru is losing grip on Mount Kenya. I mean, he's even yet to pronounce himself on a successor. We're leaving central Kenya hanging in the balance. And then, how I defeated Raila in Kenya, Ochieng. What do we say about this headline?
I feel that the media is really stretching this story for more than it's worth.
So,
No.
can we-
I like it. I mean, Raila has been in the news for the past couple of months and he's been taking pot shots at RUTO. Let him be on the. No. Raila has been taking pot shots at RUTO. Now it's time for him to defend himself. Let the guy take his glory.
So you like
Ochieng
this
guy.
headline?
Yeah. What?
All right. What do you think about
I'll put it in the
Daily
parking
Nation?
bay because I'm going to toss the Daily Nation headline. They should have given us a different one.
That's
Let us
okay.
think
I most
thoughtful,
definitely agree with
I
that.
agree.
more groundbreaking.
All right.
Hand of God, mother-baby escape crash. Human interest story, very sweet, kind, thoughtful. They escaped certain death.
Skin of your teeth. Huh?
There's a very beautiful picture here of the mother and
True,
a
and
very
what's the
pretty
context
baby.
behind the story?
I don't know. I think this young lady was driving her car. She was taking her child to the hospital, and she parked by the side of the road, and a trailer, I don't know whether it was passing by or was parked, but tipped over and crashed her car just moments after she
got out.
had gotten out with her baby.
Yeah. I mean, the Standard has taken a completely different angle right now. So everyone else has gone right. They're talking about Raila and his losses.
Yeah.
And the Standard has gone for human interest. But at the same time, very sneakily, on their upper third,
Yeah.
they put the headline that should have been on the front cover
Yeah.
hiding at the top.
Not taking away from this story because it is wonderful for us to bear in mind that miracles do happen.
Yes.
I would like to say that it would be very wanting of the Standard to forget who we are as Kenyans. We are political animals. We value politics. We love it. We eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
This was our headline for today. Raila to RUTO on graft. War, ask Uhuru, not me. This is
I like
Uchokozi,
that.
100%.
And I saw him. He said, Ruto is a second in command.
Yes, second highest office in the land.
He's a
That's
second
what
in
I
command.
thought.
If at all he's being targeted in the fight against graft,
Don't
then
ask me.
he should ask his boss.
Yeah.
And by the way, I actually agree with him.
Yeah, it's true.
I
So
actually agree
was
with
the
Raila.
Standard too fearful?
Yeah.
Were they afraid of putting that as a headline?
I don't know. I think we watch the Standard because either they've changed tact and they want us to take us as a country in a different direction with the headlines and the stories that they push as the main story, or they will go back to who they truly are.
I think this is
political animals.
lazy journalism. Tell the people what they want to hear. This would have been the winning headline.
Actually,
Had they put
actually,
it here, this would have been the winning headline.
maybe they're right. Having a human interest story is a good business decision. This will sell more headlines than Raila to Ruto.
To
As for
Kenya,
Really?
political animals that we are.
I
Yeah.
disagree.
Fifth estate watchers that we have been.
Yeah.
No. All right, we toss.
No offense, I do think that it's a good thing that Ochieng did this, but Ugenya is known to have its moments.
All right.
We have no winning headline today, but on to our next segment, the political pieces that we call cartoons
Cartoons.
in this country.
Yes.
Just like the headlines, we have a 3-part criteria that we use to break them down for you. We ask ourselves, is the cartoon humorous or is it dry? Is it satirical or is it pessimistic? And finally, is it effective or
Just
Plain
lazy. All right.
bring back the papers?
I want us to start with the Standard.
Oh yeah, since
is.
we tossed it so hard.
Yeah. Because this also is an international story, right?
Yes.
Tujay, you're the one who knows this story. You have backdrop to this.
Okay, so in this picture we have somebody who's supposed to look like Bensouda. What's her
Yeah.
first name?
Fatu.
Fatou Bensouda, who is a judge with the ICC.
So prosecutor.
Prosecutor. Oh my goodness, I'm so
Oh.
sorry. And then we have an American who's supposed to represent John Bolton, who worked as Undersecretary of State for Arms Control and International Security under Bush.
Yeah.
And he is saying, we're going to deny you U.S. visa. And the context here, of course, is that Bensouda was going to the U.S. to investigate the
soldier activity in Afghanistan.
In Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And she was denied her visa. It was revoked, rather.
Yeah.
So that is a context of this story.
I do like the cartoon, and we always say this, and I think Jem gave us a good criteria yesterday, that he said that, Gado, if you're not an international news buff, he puts your eye on that path and lets you see those things and wakes you up to that.
Yes.
And I think that this context, it's very funny because, yes, he was undersecretary under the Bush administration, but Donald Trump has also made him his national security advisor currently, and it is well known that it was intentional, so that Bolton can continue his anti-ICC way.
Yeah, so I think what we had missed before is that John Bolton unsigned the United States from the Rome Statute, which is what created the ICC. So I think him saying we're going to deny your visa is him continuing that story of the ICC has no right to come into the US and tell us what to do.
And I'm telling you, there's a really funny article. I think I found it funny because of the statements that John Bolton says in that article by in the Washington Post. With regard to the ICC were hilarious. He said, we will strangle the ICC in its cradle and then we will write to them and tell them you are dead to us. With regards the United States. I love this cartoon.
So
what is Bensouda doing here?
That is for you to say and for us to be quiet and look at the camera while you say it.
I think the audience will be able to see the picture and make it out for themselves what she is doing with her hand.
A birdie.
Yeah, but I think the point still remains, as long as the ICC, as long as the United States is not has not signed the Rome Statute, they have no jurisdiction to come in and tell them what to do.
It is for them an illegitimate court.
Exactly, and I think as Africans we need to follow.
So you put it in parking bay?
No, one last thing, by the way, before you put in the parking bay, because I think it's our funniest cartoon. The other cartoons speak to the same issue.
Yeah.
I think it was Trevor Noah that said that Donald Trump is the first American African president. African presidents have been doing this for time immemorial. And now that the States is doing it, I think it's time for international courts to wake up and realize their own illegitimacy.
And maybe, I agree.
Maybe Kenya should do the same thing to the ICJ. Because in the Star we have an expose on our own maritime border, which is before the ICJ. So I say we do the same thing. I mean,
next cartoon, let's look at the Star.
Can we look at the Star and the Daily Nation together?
Oh yes, true. They're similar cartoons.
If we're going to look at Mutiambai, let's look at him all round.
Of both that show IG, the new IG, I like the Nation.
Okay, so both of them. First, before you say which one you prefer, can we just say what's on them?
Yeah, let me begin with the Star. It's a caricature of the new IG. And I saw that he's taking the oath. But at the same time, his hand is next to a bucket of promises. Recycled promises. And I think these are the headings of the new, the former IGs, Inspector Generals.
So you have Kimayo, you have Boynet, and the promises that they made, and he's dipping his hand.
So the idea is he's suggesting that Mutyambai will be picking up the recycled promises that had been given before.
And were never met, by the way, we know that.
Yeah.
And with the Nation?
I was going to tear it apart. The Nation is, this is funny. The outgoing is actually his left. IG Boynet, former Inspector General Boynet, in his oversized clothes. And I don't know why they draw him the way they draw him like that. But then his pants are on fire. And then there's the other general who has been left for a briefcase. And then IG Boynet is saying all the best.
As he goes to sit on the IG chair that is on fire.
IG seat. No,
so you prefer this one?
Oh yes,
What I say is that it's
a hot seat. It's a hot seat because
but it's a literal interpretation of it being a hot seat.
Yeah, but this one they make the police look like an NGO. Like I mean, what are promises? The police should not make promises. See, they're there to do their work.
They have a job to do. Protect and serve. Yeah, so protect and serve. Don't make us promises you cannot keep anyway.
It's not a political office. He's not taking the oath of the presidency. He's taking the oath of a disciplined force that does orders. So there's nothing like a promise.
One thing I do want to disagree. The angle that both cartoons have taken is that Mutyambai is doomed from the start. And I think that's a very unfair angle to take, considering the fact that we know nothing about this man. We said this I think a couple of months ago, that it took the whole country a few hours to find a picture of him. And it's the same one picture that was circulating.
Yeah.
This guy is a spy.
Yeah.
So for us to assume that he's going to enter and, recycle promises or he's going to burn on a fiery chair is unfair.
The only thing I would disagree with Morena is I know the president has a preference for choosing intelligence officers as inspector generals now. And I think IG Boynet's tenure has seen a much more organized force than ever before. So I see no reason for the fire. I actually think he should be congratulated for the work that he has done.
Yeah. So
what do we say? Do we have a winning headline? And can we pick one of the two? Because they both speak to the same issue from a different angle.
I think they're both pessimistic. However, I like this one better.
He doesn't even look like, he even looks more like Ali than...
Let's use our criteria.
Mutambai.
Which is humorous?
This guy, this one for...
2M, the
for
only thing
Boynet.
you're laughing at is the fact that Boynet is small and he's wearing a big suit and a big hat.
You
Is
don't-
that
on
the...
fire.
You don't find it funny.
Yeah, but that's not the entirety of the cartoon.
I just like it.
Okay,
But
you know
what
what?
do we say? Which is humorous?
This one.
2J?
I think neither are particularly humorous.
Both are...
But you were laughing
can
before you came here.
Okay.
Can we agree that both are pessimistic?
Yes, both are most definitely pessimistic.
Yeah.
None borders on satire.
No, not at all.
Okay, then which is effective?
I think we toss
I
both.
think we toast both. There we agree.
And there you have it. There is no winning cartoon. This is winning headlines. See you tomorrow.
Final thought. How can you forget?
I'm so sorry to them. And you came back today. I take it back.
And,
Do we have a final thought?
we always have one. And now our final thought. There's a reason why I did not say the other motive for the president of dissolving parliament.
Okay.
Or we come back to the points that we left out in the headline.
Yes.
Better be good.
The reason the president will dissolve parliament,
Yes.
in my view, is to extend his term. And this is why. Should he get an order from the Chief Justice of dissolving parliament, chances are the order will be how to reconstitute parliament. And that will be through an election, let's say in 60 days. Now, the Constitution says that a general election shall be held on the same date as a presidential election.
Yes.
So if Uhuru was to dissolve parliament today, it means that maybe in 60 days or 90 days,
An election must happen for the National
and
Assembly.
yes, and parliament will be reconstituted. And therefore, because a presidential election and a general election must be held within the same day, a parliamentary election will happen in 2024.
Okay.
And therefore, the president's term could just be extended to 2024. But then there's a flip, which
yes,
I'm
there's
sure
two.
both of you want to take me on.
Yes, and I'll let Tuje go with it. You're
Yeah.
saying there's two ways, and I agree.
Okay,
with you.
so
I see two ways.
There's
I
two
see
ways
two
it could go.
I see
It's
two
either
ways.
that the president's term is extended
Yeah.
or that his term is cut short.
That is true.
Because if we read the letter of the Constitution very
Yes.
purely,
Yes.
it would mean that by virtue of a National Assembly
Yes.
election happening,
Yes.
a presidential election must also happen within
Yes.
that 60-day time
Absolutely.
period.
And I agree.
Therefore, the president will have to
And I agree with you.
Go back
Step
to the
aside,
ballot.
yeah.
But
Which
then-
is a dangerous position.
Which is very
It's a very
dangerous.
dangerous position. But then the Constitution is also very clear, and it's also very restrictive to the Chief Justice. It says the Chief Justice shall write to the President asking him to dissolve Parliament, and the President will
Shall
do it.
dissolve
Shall do it.
President.
But it's not telling him you go think at you self-destruct as well as President. It's telling him you shall dissolve Parliament. It is very clear.
Nothing stops anyone from going to the court during that 60-day period to
To
seek an
seek-
interpretation.
Yeah.
And the second interpretation is that the court may say that
Yeah.
a presidential election can only happen as well on the fifth day
But
on
you
the second
know-
Tuesday every fifth
you
year.
know-
So unless both criteria are met, they could say that the president's term is not in question.
I agree with
and
you.
he doesn't
Yeah.
have a fixed term. You see, it's implied that his term is 5
because
years.
it's
Yes.
pegged to that of
Yes.
the National Assembly.
Yeah, but I have another crazy thought. Should the Chief Justice tell the President to also self-destruct? What he will be sending, the message he'll be sending, especially to the military, is that now you cease to have a commander-in-chief, and I am now the substantive head of
Please,
state.
I think I
It's
go
Tuesday.
back.
Can we go
yeah,
slowly?
it's Tuesday. I think I go back to ending winning headline.
Yes.
There was no winning headline. There was no winning cartoon. Final thought.
Fantastic.
Jumped off of the realistic into the doctrine of civil necessity. And this is winning headlines. See you tomorrow.